Welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Sally Saad. Okay, I am a pharmacist. I'm teaching biology and chemistry A level since like 15 years ago in Saudi Arabia and in some centers in Egypt. Okay, um, I'm talking now about يعني orientation. I will explain part also of the syllabus. Okay. Uh, but after orientation and giving you an idea how the assessment, what is the overview of the syllabus, especially for the student who will take IGCSE in October, November, or next May and June 23, or for the student who will start their pre-IG grade 9, or some schools in Egypt and Saudi Arabia especially, they taking their or starting their pre-IG from grade 8. Okay. First of all, what are the contents of the biology syllabus? If you can see here, there are around 21 chapters. Okay, some chapters related to an introduction to the whole biology. We will talk about characteristic of living things. Okay, and their classification, then some information about the cell structure, then the movement of substances into and outside the cell. يعني very short chapter related to biochemistry. It's talking about biological molecules or the molecules of life which made our bodies or the bodies of the living things, enzymes. Then we have around 10 chapters related to the physiology or how some systems and organs work inside plants or animals. Right, for plants we have only 3 chapters in the whole syllabus: plants nutrition, plants transportation, and plants reproduction within the reproduction chapter. Other parts related to human physiology, nutrition, respiration, gas exchange, excretion, coordination related to the nerval impulse and reproduction. Okay. For the student who will take the syllabus in October, November, okay, there is no change in the syllabus. They will go with the curriculum of 2022, right? But May and June 2023, there are little changes that happen in the syllabus. Some parts are removed, like the importance of mineral, misuse of drugs. Some parts, little bit details increase, but not major changes like chemistry. Chemistry has more changes in 2023 than biology. Okay, right. This is overview for the syllabus. Last 5 chapters, they are very interesting chapters, okay, because they are handling the environment and the relationship between environment and the living organisms and human, what we did to the environment, how the development or the industrial revolution of the human affect the environment, and you can see the pollution, whatever the changes which happen in the weather, and all how it was affected by the human. And biotechnology and genetic modification, very important part, because this branch of science really in many sides of our life, it's affecting everything. By that branch of science, we learned how to modify our crops to increase the food production, how to treat diseases, how to handle a lot of things, even how to treat pollution using this gene modification. Okay. Okay. For each chapter, there is syllabus content which we have to cover, right? Okay. When you will go to the syllabus of the IGCSE biology, there is core and there is supplement. What is difference between these two? Core, it is needed only for the student who has pre-IG like grade 9 or 8, right? Especially 9, and they have checkpoint, okay, and their assessment will be by paper 1 and 3. and 5 or 6. Okay. The core part, it is giving the direct information, like state what is the characteristic of living organisms, state that definition, right? Brief definition, expression about the information, supplement or extended part to that core. He here states the organisms, how they can be classified, and explain the classification, how it's reflected to the evolution of the living organisms. You understand? So, yani supplement, we will give more details or application for the what we learned in the core, or extent of the information which we will handle in the core. You got it? Right. There are two codes, especially in Egypt. Usually, you will prefer to. There are two codes for biology. We prefer one which is numerical. Sorry. Okay. It's 0970. These two codes for biology, they have the same syllabus content, the same chapters, everything. Only the difference between them is the reporting of the result. Here it's given in grade from A star to G. Here it's given from 9 to 1. I will explain later what is the difference between them, and why most of the Egyptian student or the student now prefer that system. Okay, but no difference in the syllabus content between the two codes of biology, right? Right. Next point, how is the assessment is going on? Okay, there are paper 1, many papers, paper 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, paper 1 and paper 3, this is for the core assessment, right? Okay, paper 1, it is multiple choice paper, MCQ. Okay, it carries 40 marks, 30% of the total mark. Paper 3, okay, 1 hour 15 minutes, 80 marks, right? And there is for both of them, they can take practical, paper 5 or paper 6, and I will tell you what is the differences between paper 5 and paper 6. Okay, for the extended assessment, okay, paper 2, again MCQ or multiple choice questions, and paper 4, which is the theory which is related to the extended part. As a student of grade 10, I'll take examination of IGCSE. I have to study both of them, the core and the supplement, but I only will be assessed using this paper 2, paper 4, and paper 5 or 6, right? In all of our region, in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Emirates, and Kuwait, all we are using paper 6, which is alternative to practical. Paper 5, no, it's laboratory based assessment. The student will go to the lab and will do the experiment by themselves. Okay. How is the assessment based on, or what are the objectives of the assessment? Okay, there are 3 types of assessment or questions you will see in the whole paper. Paper 1 and paper 3, or paper 2 and paper 4, right? There is type of assessment is AO1, okay, and AO2. What is difference between them? Here, the type of the questions which is covered the part of assessment AO1 is the understanding, okay, and knowledge. Okay, for AA2, it's analysis and application questions. This type of questions for the whole grading, it's 50%. What does it mean? It means 50% of the questions and may go to be 60%, depending on how you're understanding the syllabus. Okay, what are your direct knowledge from the syllabus? And this is good point. If I am studying the syllabus properly, understand each point, 50% of the assessment, it will be in my hand. I will never lose mark in that. Okay, 30% will be covered by this type of question. As IGCSE students, the AO2 will become in the form of, you will describe a graph, then you will explain the graph. Maybe they will give you 2 graphs and ask you to make a conclusion or a discussion, right? Okay, maybe there will be quantitative analysis or questions related to mathematical calculations. You got my point? Okay. I will go to paper 6. I will answer you, India, right? So, okay, طيب. Is this questions hard? No, definitely not. Actually, I feel these questions are gifts for the students who are not studying properly. Because if you even don't study, you're not sure from your knowledge, this 30%, it can be covered if you read the question properly with some skills of solving, how to describe, how to explain, how to take out conclusion from data which is given to you, and most of the data familiar to you. For example, I explained the mechanism of the transmission of nerval impulse between 2 synapses. Yani how the nerval impulse pass from one neuron to another. And we explained the process, right? Okay. The question, if it will be covered by AO1 type, he will ask you explain how nerval impulse will be transmitted from motor neuron to sensory neuron, from motor neuron to the effector, or from the relay neuron to the motor neuron. So simply, I will explain how the synapse is working according to what I learned in the syllabus. So this depending on your knowledge and understanding of the point. Okay, AO2 question, which may come related to that part, he will ask you, if I will give a particular drug, right, or some toxin substance, which may affect part of the mechanism of the transmission of nerval impulse, what will happen? So here, this related to part of or point of the syllabus, okay, and they will ask you to think and analyze the situation and write the result of your analysis or manipulation of this data or point. You understand? Okay. You have any doubt about that part? Okay. So this 2 found in paper 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, right? Yani paper 1, 60%, almost 60% of the paper is AO1. Paper 3 is the same. Paper 2 also 60% of the paper, 60% of paper 4 AO1. It means 60% of the paper I will do it perfectly if I'm understanding the syllabus and I have good knowledge about each part of the syllabus. The other 30%, now we will go to 80%, depending on if I have the enough practicing to describe, make analysis, make manipulation, mathematical calculation. Sometimes they will give you graph or table and ask you calculate the percentage of increase, calculate the percentage of decrease. Yani some mathematical skills are needed, okay, and it will be given in the form of AO2 type of assessment, and it carries here in this paper around 37-40 of all the paper related to the theory type. Still, we have 20% mark. It is the third type of assessment, which is AO3. This is practical skill. Okay. Practical skills Yeah, it's fine. Paper 6, paper 5. Paper 5, I will not go in details because most of our region not go through that paper. I had some students last year, they from North Africa and Nigeria. They used to have this paper in their assessment, not paper 6, but in our region, most of our schools in Egypt and Arab countries depend on paper 6, which is alternative to practical. It means there is this is a practical paper but not laboratory based assessment. They will give you the steps of the experiment and will give you the result and ask you to take this result and put it in a table. They will ask you to evaluate the result. After reading the experiment, what are the source of error? How can we handle that? Maybe they ask you for planning and investigation, whatever it will be familiar or not familiar to you, right? Okay. There is drawing part, okay, to enlarge a drawing. Image will be given to you and they will ask you to make large drawing diagram and label some of that diagram. Here we want to enhance the skills of drawing, and there are quality requirements needed to achieve the 5-6 marks for the drawing question, and there is calculation questions related to magnification of image. Actually, the achievement of that paper for most of the students is very high, getting very high marks, because the practical skills are the same, right? If you know how to draw, خلاص, all the time, if there is drawing questions, you will get the mark, right? If you know the variable of the experiment, dependent, independent variable, right? So also you will get the mark. You will not find any difficulty, and especially most of these paper questions are repeated. For practical or handling this assessment, how we will train you during the course, right? For that part, which is depending on understanding the knowledge, okay, it depends on, we will give you very good explanation, and be sure that you memorize all of the questions which will come direct, which contain mechanism, right? Explain how the urine is formed. This is direct question. If it will come, خلاص, you will know it, you will write it, right? Okay. Compare between voluntary and involuntary action. This is direct question, depending on your studying and knowledge. And this part easily, I will explain the part for you, and be sure that you memorize this part before leaving the session. And with the practicing of past paper, especially paper 4, which have that questions, so more practicing in paper 4 will enhance you in the direct questions or the information which is directly written in the syllabus. So it will support you to getting high marks in paper 4 as well as paper 2, right? For the AO2, we will give solving graph questions, description, explanation, calculation questions, right? The questions for each chapter or each topic we are giving, we will give the classified questions, which includes the 2 types of assessment, right? As I told you, compared to the direct question, it's less percentage. With the time, you will be able to solve it. Okay, told you this question is gifts for the student, because you studied or not. If you have a good way of critical thinking, or you have higher thinking skills, which will be increased with more solving, you will be able to cover the 30% perfectly. Okay. Okay, for the practical, for each chapter, some chapters have clear practical experiments which you have to learn, because for sure this practical 80% will be in paper 6 assessment, right? It will be given to you during the course, right? And if you have to learn some experiment with their steps, it will be given to you, and the video will be sent for the experiment to see how could you do it. Because when you see the experiment in front of you, it will make it easier for you to memorize it and write it without making a lot of effort. If you will memorize something that you did not see, or you did not see the observation, it will be harder. But if you see it, it will make it easier for you to write it and memorize it easily. Okay, I will show you yani for the course during the explanation. So here, for example, this is a whiteboard of the class for the biological molecule. Here we are giving the theory of the tests, how we will do. I'm giving you the steps. This is during the class, how to do it. Okay, with clear explanation for the steps, exactly as you are writing in the test paper, right? Okay, then okay, during the session also there is video. You have to see the observation by yourself, right? Okay, yani the link of the video will be shown to you like that. I will send you the link also with the material, right? Okay, so we will watch the video together with more explanation, right? So you will see the observation. You will see the observation and the steps of the test, as well as how to write it. Is it clear? Okay, do you see the video or not? Here, that video that I opened using the link. Is it clear? Right. Also, the steps of the practical, it will be given with the material, right? I will show you when I will show how we are giving you the material. We can cancel paper 6 actually. خلاص, this will not be found anymore, right? Because most of the schools coming back now, no corona anymore, so we will go to the normal assessment of the papers, right? So paper 6 we cannot drop anymore from next session, inshallah. Okay, طيب. About the assessment, as I told you, we have two codes for the biology, right? We have 0616, which have grading from star to G, and there is U. It's ungraded. It means you did not get the requirement to pass, and even there is no certificate. Okay, 0970, same content of the syllabus, same list of evaluation, even same paper, same timing, but assessment from 9 to 1, and 1 here, it is equal U here, right? Right. I just want to tell you there is uniform for the marks, depends on the curve, but I want you to understand very important thing here, okay? Here's the paper 1, paper 2, okay, carries 40 marks. Paper 4 carries 80. Paper 6 carries 40. So the total of these is 160, right? Okay. After doing the curve, the uniform mark will be over 200. Okay. So your marks in the curve to get star, it will be over 200. You understand? The grading or the reporting of each paper separately, maximum is A. Yani, if you will go to the grade boundaries, you will see paper 4 maximum grading is A. Paper 6 maximum grading or reporting is A. But for collecting all the marks of the 3 papers, okay, it will be over 160. It will be multiplied by a factor to be 100, which will be uniform mark for all, and it will be, you will give him a star or A or B according to the curve of the paper. What is the curve of the paper? Yani, it's method of calculation to be fair. Okay, if the paper is hard, right, so the curve of the paper will be low. Simply to achieve a star, it does not need high mark, right? Okay, it depends on the difficulty of the paper. So the highest mark the student will get in the paper, for example, 60 over 80. So if anyone will achieve 60 and more, it means they will get A in that paper, right? So then they will collect all of these marks multiplied by the factor of 200, and you will see the curve if you will achieve a star or not. You got my point? Okay, the papers which usually has high curve, paper 2 and paper 6, because the achievement of this paper is very high. Most of the students lose like 2-3 marks in paper 2, also from 5 to 4 marks in paper 6, and paper 4 little bit has less curve than the other two paper, but also most of the students achieving good marks. So biology need a lot of work. You have to pay attention because most of the students achieving good in biology, so the curve is not low as expected usually, right? Time. This is about the reporting for the two biology codes. What about our course and how it works, right? We will have online session, right? Each session from 45 minutes to 2 hours. It depends on the lesson, right? Okay. If the student is taking October, November, usually it will be 3 sessions a week because 21 chapter we have to finish and give more time for evaluation and solving box and whole papers. Okay, 3 sessions, and there will be always, this is a habit, one session will be given for solving paper, assessment, office hours. It's weekly. You can say 4 sessions a week, right? For this is for October, November. For May and June, no, it will be 2 sessions because we have longer time with the session of office hour and workshop, right? This I will be with you, with the assistant, right? If you need help in solving, I will give assessment or test. I will be with you, explain some points you need a help before next session, right? But it's a must. No, never I will skip that session because it's very important. Yeah, explanation and going through the syllabus is very important, but learning how to solve, be with you while you are solving the paper, it's very important. You see, never I will be also absent from that, even the assistant with me, but I will be with you step by step. Okay. The plan to finish, for usually in October, November, I'm finishing our time within 2 months and a half maximum. For May and June, we'll take more 3 months or 3 months and a half because we have more time. Okay, and the number of sessions per week is less than October, November, right? But I'm putting the frame for our course or the time frame for our course, but it depends on you, right? You have to work with me as I wish, right? You have to attend the sessions regularly. No excuses to skip the session. I will not attend today, I will attend the next time. No, everything is prepared with a time plan, right? If you will not plan everything with timing, okay, so it's wasting of time. You will not achieve anything. Even if you achieve it perfectly but late, the value will be less, or sometimes it will not have value. What is the benefit to finish later? My exam after 3 months. Okay, so I have to prepare myself from now, right? Not postpone the work. I will not attend today, I'm sleeping. No. Okay, you have to be aligned with the plan that I'm giving to you, right? And I'm giving the plan of the course, what we will do for each chapter, what we will, before each chapter, I'm explaining, we will finish that chapter in 2 sessions. Our first session will do that and that. Okay, so you understanding what I'm doing this session and next and next. If you will skip or you will not attend all of these sessions, You are the one who will lose, not me. Okay. Right. What about the material that I am supplying to you? This material is for free. I'm giving you for free because it's a part of the course, right? If I will explain, I will not give you material, so I'm not giving you the course properly then. So there are notes will be given after each session. The notes found in the two form. Whiteboards, this is the explanations that I am giving now, like that I'm explaining and writing here. After finishing that, I will send it to you, right? This is very important to me because when you study or read or see what I was drawing and explaining during the session, it will help you to remember and remind you faster, right? Plus, there is PDF notes, okay, which will be given after finishing the whole chapter, right? This also for you, which you collect all the notes of the lesson, right? Plus, after each session, there is topic classified questions. Okay, it will be uploaded to you. Say explain. Today, for example, I explained characteristic of living things. Right after the session, I will send you classified question to the part that I finished today. Right, you will solve, then you will submit it on the submission day. It will be given to you in our Google Classroom, right? And in the assistant will follow you to submit on time, and they will check and give it back. After that, I will put for you the marking scheme for further revision later. Okay. There is also combined the classified questions. What does it mean? Mean after finishing the whole chapter, I will give you combined the classified questions for that chapter, which mean paper 2, paper 4, and paper 6 as well. Okay, which will covering the whole chapter, right? Okay, so it will be with you for more practicing. Okay, I will give you assignment for this paper to solve till I finish the next chapter. Yani, now I finish the chapter of coordination, right? You have assignment for the best paper of coordination for this combined question, right? While I'm explaining the chapter for homeostasis, for example, right? Once I finish homeostasis, you will shift to the combined question of homeostasis till I go to or to finish the next chapter and so on. You got my point? Okay. Type. What also will be given to you as material videos? I told you. So, for example, I'm explaining food test. I'm explaining mechanism of any process that you have to learn. I will give you the link of the video, right? Okay. That link of the video will be given to you with the material to remind you about this process, right? Sometimes you don't want to read. If you watch the video, it reminds you what was the explanation, right? Maybe the recorded session may be supplied to you if it needed, right? If you require the recorded session, it will be given to you, but usually I'm not preferring to give it to you all the time because some students will not attend the live session and want to take the recording. I don't like that. Live session, I have to be in contact with you, right? And you have to be in contact with me to be sure that you got it, right? I want to be sure that you will be able to answer any question related to that part. You will be able to study the part by yourself after finishing my explanation. But recording session, I don't like you to depend on the recorded session. Some of you, I will watch it later. I will see it, but no, I'm with you. I want to be in contact with you as if we are sitting together. Okay, the camera is supposed to be open during the session. Yeah, Mariam, I said this will be given to you. I will show you now the sample of classified questions. I will give it to you as a PDF and you can take and print and solve. You understand? There is topic classified questions after each topic I'm giving. The combined question, it is the whole past paper. related to the chapter, paper 2, paper 4, paper 6. You will take and print and keep it with you. And I will tell you, for example, today you will solve 10 pages from this classified and submit it in that day. And each week I will give you the plan of work for the biology. Yani I will show you now how can we do that. Here that code. Okay, sometimes I need to put link for you or think I will put it on the PDF of the whiteboard, right? You can scan it, right, and go to the video. You can scan it and join, or you can scan it and take link of the test, for example, if I want to give it to you. Right during the session. Yani in our session there is pre-assessment at the beginning to yani evaluate or test you for the topic that we finished before, or for topic we finished long ago but I still need in that chapter. Yani for example, I want to explain plant transportation. And plant transportation, the student have to be familiar with osmosis and diffusion and this part. So I should remind you. I can remind you. I will not explain it again because I did it before. So I can put the code of the pre-assessment here. You can scan it from the screen, right? And solve and send it to me, right? Or I will send the link to your WhatsApp group. But sometimes, yeah, I will put it here and there to make it easy. If you get it from the WhatsApp, get it scanned directly from the board, right? It will be easier for you to get it because sometimes net will not help all of the students to do everything on time. Okay, is it clear? This is for the whole material that will be supplied to you. But how this material will be given to you, let me show you it. We have site but and Google Classroom, right? I will show you, for example, here, this is Google Classroom for coordination. What's found here? What is the material which found here? Okay, here there is whiteboard. Okay, whiteboard, what was I was explaining during the session, our discussion, it's given to the student. What else? Okay, here there is another video I used to explain synapse. I want them to watch the video. It will help them to remember it, right? There is here the notes, the PDF notes, which will be given when all the sessions of that chapter is done. So it will be with them as a handout, right? To use it with the whiteboards, right? What else found there? Yeah, here, for example, a topic classified question for the synapse, only for synapse because I explained it today. You understand? This is the sample of the material, right? Okay, and the quiz, it will be given with the same page of the chapter. So whatever when you want to revise the chapter, you will go to the coordination and everything related to the coordination. I give it to you the whole year. It will be all found here in that room. You got it? Okay. Type. This how the material will be shared with you. Okay. What about طبعا after each session there is assignments and homeworks, right? It will be given to you, right? And you have with the date of submission, it will be uploaded in Google Classroom. I will say about it in the session, right? You will do the homework and assistant will check and give it back. But as a student, you have to give it on time because late submission will not accept it. If you will make late submission, it will not be accepted. I will not accept because no one will help you, right? Do your work on time. It will be checked. I will revise, right? If you had mistakes, I can discuss it with you next session. right? If you will postpone, you will not do it. After next session, I'm discussing with the students their mistakes, their doubt. Your handwriting was not good. You should write this point in that way, not in that way. You have to use that keyword, not that. And you are sitting and watching. You are not getting any benefit. And really, I'm feeling sorry for the student who will not be aligned with the timing of the submission, because you are the one who loser and who lose, and no one will support you, because we have assignment today, tomorrow you will submit, they will start to check, then it will be given back. After that, we will have our session, then new assignment, new homework. No one will wait for you. So I don't want you to be behind. I don't want you to be behind the others, right? Okay, don't make excuses. Really, really, I hate excuses. You know, when you create an excuse and not to do that, sorry, I will not be able, sorry, I did not understand that, so I did not do the homework. Sorry, I will not accept that. I am in the session with you. If you did understand, ask me to repeat like 100 times. I can sit with you alone after the session to clear it. Tomorrow I will sit with you. When you do the homework, you find difficulty, you forgot how to write, okay, send to the assistant. We will support you, we'll explain to you. 5 minutes is enough to be with you alone to clear everything, right? But not leave it, and I did not understand, so I will not do. I will not accept that. If you did not understand, you want extra support, you have to tell me before the next session, because I would like all of you in the next session to be ready for the new topic, right? Only you discuss the mistakes or the common things that you had as a doubt or it was not clear, and after that we will start a new point, right? So don't put yourself behind the other, right? Because if you will not do your work on time, many things you have to do, and it will be heavy. You will not be able to finish it. You understand me? So why? I want you to be in the front, and to be in the front all the time, you have to do your work, okay? You have to be aligned with the timing which is given to you. You understand? And this is yani, in all of the religions, they care about time and about the hard working, and you have to be like that all the time, not only in biology, in all of your life, right? Okay, fine. Following up and about assessments and evaluations. Okay, weekly you will have an assessment, test, exam, maybe topic assessment for the topic that we finished this week, maybe exam including 1 or 2 chapters, and usually you will start to give exam when we finish like 2-3 chapters, because we will give, and this week we are taking animal transport. We will include with it the chapter of movement of substances into and outside the cell plus plant transportation. So we will have test and exam on 3 chapters, or 1 chapter only as an assessment. It depends, right? But regularly for each 2 weeks, we will have test for all chapters as well as new chapter that we finished. Okay, why? Because we have to keep on revising the old chapters, because we have 20 chapters, right? So we'll forget. If I will just I give it and give the assessment and I will go to the other chapters at the end of the syllabus, when we will start to revise, I will see myself I forgot what we had at the beginning of the year. So I hate that. When we finish the syllabus at the end of the course, you will find yourself all the chapters you still remember. You will be able to solve a whole paper with with very high grade. You will get star from the first time, because I'm studying the new parts as well as the old parts. Okay. Following up our reports, we have group for the parent and you. This is WhatsApp group. Okay. And we have also parent group only and me. Okay. Parents only, because I need to be in contact with them. Sometimes I'm giving them the test paper, they will print, and you will take the test under their supervision, right? And you will submit the test under their supervision, because sometimes I want you to put you in a real atmosphere, يعني similar atmosphere to have an exam, and someone is invigilating you, right? And sometimes you will give it online, right? You will open the camera, and I will be with you and my assistant as well, right? So you will take the test, as I told you before, that will be weekly, right? Online with open camera, right? Or parents will give it to you, right? Usually this will be given with our revision, final revision, or the big test. If there is mock giving, which include more than one chapter, I would like that to be under the supervision of a parent, also to adjust the timing and everything. After finishing the course, we have final revision plan. Let me show you what we did last session, okay, for grade biology. Okay, here, this is the revision plan. It's given to you, right? You have daily assignment, okay, and this assignment will be open daily in Google Classroom, and you have to submit. There are classes will be given for topic revision, and this week you have to revise ecology and genetic engineering. Okay, that class I will ask you, and you will ask me your doubts, right? And we will have revision for paper 6 and 4 that you had as an assignment in 19 and 20 March. Then again, there is topic revision for the same part, right? Then there is mock paper. This topic, there is topic quiz paper. This will be on the topic of revision that we had. And there is mock paper. This test will be for the whole syllabus. It's paper 4. Then for the whole syllabus, paper 2. So you can see from Saturday to Friday, I will be with you 4 times, whatever for revision, or having 3-time test and daily assignment you will have. Okay, it will be given to you, it will be shared to the parents as well as student till we finish. And after that, we'll finish our revision. Then there will be daily classes before the allocated date of the papers 2 and 4 and 6. It will be daily, right? We'll give mock, discuss it together, explain, give you hint about the exam and all of that. Is it clear? Of course, the reports will be sent with the comment, okay, if there is improvement or not, achieving a star, yani the report will be given A, B, star, like that. Okay, if it's assessment for only one paper, paper 4, I told you the highest grading is A. If it mock, including paper 2, 4, 6, the grading will be in a star. If you get a star or A or B, like that. Okay. Type. This is for the final revision. Okay, as a student, okay, I want you to align on time. I don't want you to miss any submit your work on time. Okay, type. Let's go to explain the first part in the syllabus, which is classification of living things. Okay, first, organization, a characteristic of living things we have to discuss, right? Then we will go to how to classify the living things. When I say what is the meaning of characteristic of living things, it means what are the characteristic or the property which I can say it's a living thing or not. What do you mean by that? It means the surrounding of us has things, right? Okay, which could be alive, which is living thing, which not be alive. Yani, for example, if you see something like that on the floor. You are walking in a garden and see something like that, right? Maybe I have a doubt, maybe it's a snake or not, right? It's not moving. So if it's not moving, so I will say it is non-living thing, right? Okay, but if it was moving, so it is living thing. Type it's not moving, so it's only if it's not moving, it means it's not living thing. But maybe it's sleeping, maybe it's only standing without moving, but it's still alive. So you can poke it, you can throw anything on it, right, to see if it will give response or not. I can see and watch if it can respire or not. How can see? I can see if there is breathing movement, right? It's a movement, right? Okay, if I will poke it with a stick or something like that and it start to give response, so if it will be sensitive, right, it means it is living thing. But if it will not give me response, so it is non-living thing. So if there is no response, it means it is not living thing, right? Naim said it could do breathing or respiration. Yeah, if it will do respiration, so it is living thing. So the characteristic which I can see, and according to what I can decide if it's living thing or non-living thing, we call it characteristic of living things. All living things must, and I'm saying must, have 7 characteristics. If one of them not found, it means it's not living thing, right? So living things have 7 characteristics. Right. Let's state them together. The characteristic of living things. Number 1, we said now, respiration. Okay. Number 2, we said sensitivity, right? Okay. Movement, reproduction. What else? I said 7. Now we had 4. Good. Nutrition, growth. Good. So nutrition, growth. Perfect. What else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more is left. Excretion, right? Okay. Right. These are the 7 characteristics of the living things, right? I should state them only? No, I should learn their definitions. Okay, I should learn their definitions. Okay, who can define the word respiration? If you had pre-IG before, right? Okay, so you should know that respiration is a chemical process. Respiration is a chemical process. Right? Chemical process to do what? That, okay, releases, okay, energy, energy, okay, from food, or chemical reaction that used to release energy from food. Okay, what is, and here I would like you to make it clear, respiration, not breathing. Respiration, not breathing. What's the difference between respiration and breathing? Here, respiration, which is a chemical reaction that releases energy from food, it is cellular process. What does it mean? It means it takes place inside the cell. If it's anaerobic, it will be in the cytoplasm. If it's aerobic respiration, it will be in the mitochondria. What do you mean? I meant this reaction will happen in the presence of oxygen, right? We need oxygen to survive, to do respiration. It will take place inside the mitochondria. Or it could happen without oxygen, it will take place in the cytoplasm. But at the end, whatever mitochondria, whatever cytoplasm, it is cellular respiration, it takes place inside the living cells. But what about breathing? Not all of the organisms do breathing. Breathing, it means intake air and exhale air. Inhale, exhale. This is the breathing. Okay, exchange of gases. Okay, we have a gas exchange system. Mammals have gas exchange systems. Birds have. Some other animal, some other organisms don't have. Plants don't have exchange system. Yeah, they do exchange of gases, but this is not respiration. You understand? So don't consider breathing as a characteristic of living things. No. Yeah, okay. Breathing is a process which intake gas or exhale gases, inhale and exhale. Some other organisms don't have gas exchange at all. Bacteria, unicellular organism, right? Don't have. So it will exchange gases by diffusion, right? And no breathing in bacteria, but there is respiration. Because after eating food, we have to release energy from that food to survive. Okay? So if I will consider respiration as a characteristic of living things, never, ever, okay, express the word breathing or use breathing as a characteristic of living things, because not all of the living things do breathing, right? So it is respiration, which a process which takes place inside the cells. Okay, type. What about the word sensitivity? Sensitive. To define the word sensitivity, this is keyword by the way here. For the sensitivity, right? To define it, it means two words, and you have to write it in your definition, right? What is it? Sensitivity, I have to sense, right? And respond. It is the process of, okay, sense a stimuli, right? And give appropriate response, right? That, as I told you at the beginning, there is, okay, snake. Something is not moving. I try to poke it, right? If it moves, so there is response. When we put the plant in unidirectional light, I put the plant light coming from one side and the other side in the shady part, right? The plant will grow towards the light. So here the plant is sensitive to light because it responds to grow towards the light, right? If you hold an hot object, fast you remove your hand. This is sensitivity, right? Because there is a stimuli which is a hot object, and your appropriate response, you quickly, okay, involuntary movement to remove your hand, okay, so you will not be burned. This is a sensitivity, right? It is the ability to detect a stimuli, whatever external or internal, and give appropriate response. This is the sensitivity. So in my definition, I have to focus on these two words to get the 2 marks, right? Sense or detect the stimuli, whatever external or internal, and give appropriate response. You understand? Okay. Bye. What about movement? Living organisms can move. Yes. Movement means change place from one place to another. Okay. But plants, can plants do that? No, plants cannot change their place, but can move their parts. When the stem grow towards the light, when the root grow towards the soil, the gravity, right? Okay, so there is sensitivity, there is response. You understand me? Okay. So this is the sensitivity. It means ability to detect stimuli and give appropriate response. Okay. Right. It is the ability. Let's write it. To detect a stimuli and give appropriate response. Is it clear? This is for the sensitivity, right? Okay. What about movement? Ability. It's ability. Okay. To change place. Or, okay, change the position, okay, of body parts. Is it clear? What about reproduction? Who can define reproduction or write it to me in the chat box or say it oral? You can talk. I'm giving you a chance to unmute yourself. Who can define the word reproduction? Who can? Yeah, but you said types of reproduction, sexually or asexually. But reproduction mean, right? Yani I had a cat. This cat breeded with another cat, male and female. They breeded together. After that, this cat will give birth for four cats. And instead of having one cat now, I started to have 5. So reproduction, okay, making more individual, okay, making more individuals, okay, from the same kind. Making more individual from the same kind. Or we have to use the word species. Let me explain it after a while. Okay? Increase in number, type. What about nutrition? What is the meaning of the word nutrition? Without nutrition, we will not be able to be alive. Okay? Taking the requirement or required material from the environment. For what? For growth, energy, development. Okay? So taking organic or requirement, right? The requirement needed for, okay, from the environment, right? Okay. Needed for energy. Auto correction is, okay, energy, right? And growth and development. Is it clear? This is the meaning of the nutrition, right? Yeah, taking their requirement, or you can write here material. Okay. Right. What about growth? Who can define the word growth? Okay, some students usually write increase in size. I'm agree with them. It's increase in size. But if I had a balloon and I would blow that balloon, it increased in size. But we can consider it growth or not? Could you answer me? If we blow a balloon, inflate a balloon, it will be considered as growth or not? Yusuf, yes, no, why? Okay, Mary Mustafa, why? Could you explain? Unmute yourself and talk, it's fine. Because I can deflate it, right? Right, it could be bursted, if so it's not permanent. But now you are like around 13 years old. Can you go back as you were like 10 years ago? You can go back to be a baby one more time? We can. So here there is keyword in the definition of growth, which is permanent growth. It's permanent growth. Okay, permanent. Okay, permanent growth. Increase in the size, permanent increase in the size. By how we grow? How come, mashallah, your height now is 160 centimeter and more, right? How? By increasing the, okay, number of cells, right? And dry mass. Why dry mass? يعني because water content could be different from time to other. But our dry mass, it is the protein and lipids and carbohydrate which found in our body. So this is the final content of the body of the living organisms. You got it? So the key word here, it's permanent increase in size by increasing the number of cells and dry mass. Okay? The last thing is excretion, and usually the definition of excretion coming to cover 3 marks, not 2. Okay, what does excretion mean? Get rid of or removal of, right? And to gain the 3 marks, I should write 3 things. Removal of, okay? Metabolic waste, okay? Products and toxic substance and substances in excess. From where? Removal these things from where? From the body. You have to write all of that to gain the 3 marks. Is it clear? Okay, what is the meaning of metabolic waste product? Some things you are eating, but your body cannot store it, like protein. No, we cannot store protein. We use protein to build muscles, make enzymes, protein carrier, hormones. But if I had excess protein, which is broken in the process of digestion into molecules called the amino acid, we will use the amino acids which our body needs. After that, the excess amino acid will be converted into urea. This is metabolic waste product, right? We have to get rid of that urea. It shouldn't stay in our body. This is one example of the metabolic waste product. Some hormones also, after releasing them, they did their function. خلاص, we have to remove it from the body. It will be metabolized in the liver, and it has to go outside of the body also. Okay, when the cells are died, DNA will be also metabolized to be uric acid, and it will be also removed as metabolic waste product in the form of urine through the kidney. Okay, what about substances in excess? I drank a lot of water. I am fasting today, right? When at the breakfast time, I drank a lot of water. This is excess. I took salty food. I have excess salt. This excess salt and this excess water have to be removed. Otherwise, your body will not be able to maintain healthy, because there is what we call homeostasis. What's homeostasis? It is a mechanism to maintain, or it is a maintenance of our body constant. All the time we have the same temperature, all the time we have the same glucose concentration, all the time we have the same salts concentration in our body. If these concentrations will be varied or changed, it means I'm sick, I'm not normal. So maintenance of the internal environment in your body is maintained by the process of excretion. Remove excess things. Metabolic waste product your body don't need, remove it. And about toxic substance. Toxic substance, when I'm eating some food which have toxic substance, your body cannot deal with it. They have bad effect on some enzymes or functions, so quickly it have to be removed from the body. Is it clear? This is the meaning of excretion. Okay. So this is the 7 characteristic of the living things and their definition, right? And some keywords you have to write in their definition, right? Otherwise, you will not be able to gain the mark. You understand me? Okay. So keywords here in gross, it's permanent. You have to let me clear the part. It is permanent gross, right? You have to use the word permanent and increase the number of cells also. Here in secretion, you have to write, I will rewrite it again. You have to write the 3 things: removal of excess substances, metabolic waste product, toxic substance from the body, right? In respiration, it must be chemical process, release energy from food, detect a stimuli and give response. It's also keywords in this definitions, right? You have to be clear for all of you. There is difference between respiration and breathing. Huh? Don't say breathing is a characteristic of living thing, right? All 7 characteristics must be found to say this thing is a living thing. Otherwise, it will not be a living thing. Like what? You can look at the car. Car can do movement. Cars can move. Cars respire. Cars respire, yeah, because we will giving gasoline. That gasoline is burning in the engine and give energy. The car is moving, right? It's feed, doing nutrition. It has sensitivity, right? Cars has sensitivity. When you touch it, it's giving alarm, right? It give excretion also. Yeah, they can excrete. You see the exhaust gases which are getting out of the car. But so movement is there, respiration is there, nutrition is there, sensitivity as well excretion, but no reproduction. للأسف يعني. Imagine كده our cars can reproduce, it will be very fine, right? But it's not. Right? Virus are not living thing. Why? Because virus, yes, live inside a host cell, but they cannot do any of the characteristic of living things except reproduction inside the host cell. Even it has genetic information. Yeah, virus has genetic information. But it only do reproduction in a host cell, but it cannot move by itself, no respiration, no excretion, no nutrition, so it is not living thing. Is it clear? Okay. Yes, safe. Okay, طيب. So we learned now the characteristic of living things and their definitions. Okay. How to study the living things? There is very big varieties, a lot of types of living things. How can we study them? So, as like if you go and study any branch of science, classification or categorization is there. Even if you are taking chemistry, they make categorization of all of the elements in the periodic table, and they spend a lot of years to classify or to arrange an element in a periodic table. It's the same, right? For living organisms, to study them, we have to classify them, right? Why? Classification make it easier. When I say bird, you will go to search for kind of birds, look for birds, right? So because in our mind, we know there are a group of animals called birds, have some characteristic wings, feathers, so I can go through that group to understand more about that animal, right? So classification depends on the characteristic of living things, right? And it makes it easier for their study. Type how to classify the whole living things which found in our universe, starting from bacteria till human, which it's a very huge group of things to be classified, right? Okay, how to classify living things. First method of classification, even that Naturally, we are doing it. When you were young, okay, once you saw something which is walking on four legs and they told you that's a dog, so you will stay for yani sometimes anything walking for four legs, it's a dog, because I know it's walking. Even cat, donkey, no, it's dog, because in your mind you know that walking on the land with four legs, not like us. When you see something swim in the water, it's a fish, regardless it's a fish or not, but it's a fish if it's swimming in the water. One with wings and feather, it's a bird. Regardless what are the different type of birds, when you will grow up little bit, you will realize there are sparrows, there are owls, there are different type of birds, different type of fishes, different type of animal which can walk in four legs. So the first method of classification that human being, of course, would do depends on our eyes, observation. What do we see, right? Which is morphology. What does the word morphology mean? External feature. Okay, depends on the external feature of the organism. Feather, wings, has fur, don't have fur, whiskers, fins, gills. Okay, but they found this have some limitation in the classification. What do you mean? Bats have wings and they fly like birds, right? But they are not laying eggs. They have giving birth to their babies. They have mammary gland. So internally, they are not like birds, right? They have different feature which is not related to birds. So it's a point of confusion here. The same for whales. Whales, yeah, living in water, have fins to swim, but they have gills. They don't have gills. They have lungs. They also giving birth. They are not laying eggs like fish. So externally, they looks like fish, but internally they are different. So we went too deep method of classification. They want to do dissection to see the internal features of the organism. So they depend on another way, which is anatomy. What does anatomy mean? By dissection, we will go through the internal. Yeah, human, we have a heart with four chambers. Birds, they have heart with four chambers. Amphibians, reptiles with three chambers. Fish has two, right? So we are different groups, so it's good. We are internally different, right? Okay, but when you say a bat is a bird which has heart with four chambers, its body covered with fur, it's giving birth. So it's not fair to say or classify it with the birds because it only can fly. Okay, and I would like to show you the difference between the wings of the bat and the wings of the bird. Okay, so here, this is the anatomy, okay, of the bat wing and the human and the bird. So if you see the bat wings, the bones like five-fingered and that like the human, but birds are different. You got my point? So both of them have wings, but no, this is different anatomy. Internally, it's different than the birds, right? So this is more accurate method of classification, right? But always there is no end up for the progress in research and science. They found more and more accurate methods of classification. What are these accurate methods? I will tell you about it, which is molecular comparison. Which is molecular comparison. What do I mean by molecular comparison? To answer that question, right, for you, First, did you ask yourself why we are different as a human than birds, for example, than fish? Why? What we have living cells, our basic unit are cells, and their basic units are cells. Okay, the cells of living things almost the same. Cell membrane, cytoplasm, some organelles, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. But what will make our cells different than the other cells? Why we have that shape and internal and external structure, which is completely different than the structure of other animals or plants even. Don't forget animals, plants with us as living things. We can compare. What's the difference between us? Okay, each living cell has different molecules, which is DNA. What is the DNA? Yani each cell, I'm talking about the cells which have nucleus, has nucleus which has what we called genetic, which is represented in all living things as DNA. You know what is the DNA? DNA is a molecule which is a polymer, yani long structure made up of a smaller subunit called bases or nucleotides. That DNA molecule, yes, yeah, good. That DNA molecule, okay, it's different in each organism than the other. طيب يعني okay, so what is that? DNA, I will briefly كده describe the DNA structure. DNA is a double helix structure. It means has two strands. These two strands twisted like twisted ladder, you know, like that. Helix. If you know the ladder, just imagine that you are twisting that ladder. It will give that helix structure. That helix structure, okay, made up of two strands. Okay, yani this one strand, this strand, and this is another strand. Each strand is a polymer of nucleotide. What are nucleotides? We have 4 types of nucleotide, or sometimes we call them bases: A, T, G, C. Yani subunits. Okay. When we bond them together in a particular sequence, it will form a strand of DNA. Yani they will be arranged in particular sequence, right, for each living organism. Yani, you know the beads which we can use to make nucleus, it's like that. The DNA is the nucleus and the beads are these nucleotides. That's why it's called polymer. Polymer word used to explain, okay, about the things which made from smaller subunits. That's why DNA is a polymer. We will use that word about the DNA is a polymer. So each strand is a polymer of nucleotide, right? Another strand is a polymer of the same 4 nucleotide. Could you imagine all of the living things made up of the same 4 nucleotides, with all of these variety that we have, from bacteria to protoctista to fish to birds to arthropods to us? All, if we take the DNA of any of these living things, it has the same 4 nucleotide A, G, C, D, A, G, C, T, right? Okay. What is the difference between our DNA and their DNA? Only is the sequence of these bases. That's it. Only the sequence of these bases will make the difference between us and them, between even a type or a species of fish and another species of fish. Okay, let's complete the structure of DNA, then we'll go to the differences and how it will be used in classification. We said DNA is a polymer of nucleotide. It's a double helix structure. I have to add here one more word, double helix structure. What do you mean by double? Double because it has two strands. Double because it has two strands. Each strand is a polymer of nucleotide A, T, C, G. These two strands, okay, will pair up together to make the structure of the ladder. But how they will pair up together? There is complementary base pairing rule. What is that? They found all the time A bonded with T and G bonded with C by type of bond called the hydrogen bond. So Allah made like that. These two strands have the sequence of bases which will make them complementary to each other, where T pairs with A and C pairs with G, and so on. Right? So DNA is a double helix structure. It has two strands at which each strand is a polymer of nucleotide, right? The two strands will pair up by their complementary base pairing rule, where A pairs with T and C pairs with G to form helical structure. Once they will be paired up together in that way, the ladder will be twisted and it will be helix structure like that. You got it? This is the structure of DNA. All the living things have the same structure? Yes. All of the living things have the same 4 nucleotide? Definitely yes. But the difference is what? The sequence of the bases in my DNA different than the sequence of bases of the cat. More differences will be found between me and a fish. More and more differences will be found between me and a bacteria. You understand? So if found, for example, forensic science. I hope you know what's forensic science. The science which study the criminal scene and how it's going on. Okay, there are places of a criminal scene, and there is blood found there, right? And there was pet animal in that home. They want to see that blood for a human or for the pet. They will take sample of that blood, analysis the DNA. If it completely the sequence of bases is different than the sequence of bases of the human being, so it's this blood not for a human, it's for the pet which was there. If they will compare the nucleotide, no benefit because we have the same nucleotide. But the sequence of bases is the most important point to compare the genetic information of organism to another. That's why we call molecular comparison, because here I will not depend on the feature, external feature or internal feature. Now I will go to more precise comparison, which is related to the molecules, which control the protein and the shape of the organism. Because the protein, which is made inside our cells, which will make us different from each other, even as a human being, is the DNA. Why my hair is yellow and my sister's hair is black? Because she has a gene of a black hair, which will make a protein with black color, but my gene will make a protein with yellow color to make my keratin or to make my hair. You got my point? Okay, so for that part, I will write the DNA structure as a sticky note in the side, because we have to take that in the biological molecules, but I have to give it to you to understand, right? So here's the structure, the structure of DNA. The first word that you have to write, it's double helix structure. And from this, I can explain the whole structure. Why? Double will remind you to write it is made of 2 strands. Okay, it's made of 2 strands. Then explain from where you will get helix. What is the strand? Each strand is a polymer of nucleotide. What are these nucleotides? By the way, you can use the word bases. It's correct also. What are these bases? A, you can write the symbol of the bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. Fine. So I explained it's 2 strands. Each strand is a polymer of nucleotide, right? The 2 strands pair up together by their complementary bases. And this is a key word. You have to use this word, complementary bases, where A pairs with T and G pairs with C using hydrogen bonds. No need to know what's hydrogen bonds, or yeah, if you don't want even to mention it, it's fine. To form a helix structure. So sorry again, I disconnected. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so this is the structure of the DNA, right? Who can say it again? Anyone, if you can say it again, you will say it's a double helix structure. So we will say it's a double helix structure. Why it's double? Because it's made up of 2 strands. Each strand is a polymer of nucleotides. Why it's helix? Because the 2 strands will pair up together by their complementary bases, which A pairs with T and C pairs with T to be a helix structure. That's it. Right, let's go to our main concern, to the part which is how, okay, DNA is used in classification. Who can answer this question based on my explanation now? How DNA can be used in classification? Who can answer that? By comparing the type of nucleotide or bases? No. Okay? By compare sequences of bases of the DNA of the different organisms. If you will mention that, you will take 1 mark. How can I get the 2nd mark? Okay, you will say, I will compare the sequence of bases, and you have to mention the word sequences. Next mark, I have to complete the view. If there are more similarities, they will be related species. This is 1 point. 2nd point, if there are less similarities or more differences, they are not related. You got it? So if he asks you, how can we use, okay, the DNA in classification of living things? I have to, first, I will compare the sequence of bases, right? Then I will see if there are similarities, they are related to each other. If there is less similarities, they are not related to each other. For example, if I will compare the sequence of bases of my DNA to the sequence of bases of a monkey, and I will compare the sequence of bases, okay, of a human and the sequence of bases of a housefly. What do you expect? More similarities will be found where? Between us and the fly and us and monkeys. Us and monkeys. So the human being and monkeys are more related because there are more similarities in DNA compared to the differences or the similarities between human and the fly. You got it? Fine. Also, there are other molecules which we can use to classify living things. Yes. So here I will go back here to write molecular comparison at which we will use DNA or proteins. Why proteins? Because the DNA or the sequence of bases in the DNA codes for the sequence of amino acid which found in the protein. So if the DNA is different, proteins will be different. So we can compare the protein of living things also to see if they are related or not. The sequence of amino acids in the protein to see if they are related or not. Okay, this is the way of classification of the living things. I think that's enough for you today. Next session, inshallah, we will talk about the ranking of the living things or the classification system, how we will rank them in kingdom and phylum till we go to species, and we will identify the word species. And I will learn you about the binomial system, then the characteristic of the kingdoms and the animals and arthropods. Is it clear?